the issue that I've had with Deathstroke. Deathstroke is one of the toughest villains that not just Batman, not just Arrow, but the entire Justice League has had to deal with. Okay, one of the few actual villains that has beat Batman on more than one occasion has also defeated the entire Justice League on his own without help. He's a very, very good and very tough villain. Okay, so good of a villain that Marvel made a spoof of him, and it turned into a great villain or great character in and of itself. Would you consider him a superhero or kind of like a
Anti-hero?
Anti-hero, yeah. Deadpool. You right? Is that what you agree with, or would you consider that Deathstroke?
I would consider Deathstroke Taskmaster.
No.
Yeah. That's where I'd go with that. The costuming wise, yes, I'll give you Deadpool.
And
but as
name,
far as
Wade Wilson.
As far as the character goes, I would see Slade
Well,
Wilson.
there's no comparison when it comes to character, bud.
But I would see Slade Wilson more as Taskmaster because he's just that guy that like we had this conversation about Batman. You might beat him once, but you will not beat him twice the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same way with the Taskmaster. Like he's going up against the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, like everyone else, and he's literally won against all the major teams in the Marvel Universe at least one time because you can beat him once the same way, but he never fall for it twice. And I was thinking about that the whole entire time, like months ago when we were having this conversation about Deadpool and Deathstroke. I agree with you as far as look, and yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the character, but if you're going to ask me what character is most like, not based on, most like Slade Wilson's character, I would have to say Taskmaster.
Okay, can we agree at least the idea for Deadpool came from Slade Wilson?
Quite possibly, but I just like
But
Wilson
it turned into a unique character in and of itself. Can we at least agree on that?
Well, but that was the one time I think Marvel laughed at itself for saying,
But
okay,
Taskmaster
everyone says we're coming up with everything after DC's done it, so let's have a little laugh about that, and boom, you have the fourth wall breaking, Ryan Reynolds playing greatest, funniest character in the DC universe.
I agree to disagree with you on this one.
Everything I just said was in just 100% agreement with what you've said over the past few months.
All I'm trying to say is the initial creation of Deadpool was thought to be a spoof on Deathstroke, and then it snowballed into its own character in and of itself.
I said that.
Okay, but you're also saying that you also said it wasn't. You said that it's not. It's not. Taskmaster and Slade Wilson are made around the same time period, if I remember correctly.
I'm just saying. You want to harp on the fact that everything Marvel does, they did it.
I didn't say everything. I did not say
6 months after DC had already tried it.
I did not say everything.
Well, most things, whatever.
There's a handful.
Yes,
There's a
you
handful.
said that 6 months, and literally I went back and looked through the documentation, and it's usually about 6 months on certain characters. Marvel comes up with it. So anyway,
or years, and if you're talking about, it's way longer if you're talking about like Flash and Quicksilver. But go ahead.
Adam was literally a month and a half.
Adam? Okay.
It was literally like a month and a half, and Iron Man was there.
Well,
so that
okay,
tells me that
I will give you this. Iron Man is an upgrade from Adam. I'll give you that.
Well, my thought on that is Iron Man probably was in the pipe. Like they were throwing the idea around, and then DC went ahead and executed on a similar or on that idea, and they thought, well, shit, if they can do it, let's just go ahead and fire the gun on this. We'll see what happens. It was too close together to have been an afterthought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would say that happened at the same time. No, I understand what you're saying, and I went through and looked through the publishing dates, and you're right. But God, we are so far.
We're not off topic. Only point I was trying to make in that was, I hope that Arrow doesn't shortchange Deathstroke because he is one of the toughest villains the entire Justice League has ever faced, much less Arrow or Batman.
I think that's why he's alive and not dead because he's coming back. And if you're telling me the Hive's coming back, that seems like something they'd be a part of. Like, hey, why don't you get off the island? Let's hang out. Let's have coffee. I got something fun for you to do.
Let's have a little talky talk.
We're gonna have like 3 or 4 shows going on all at once, and we want you to kick everyone's ass.
Oh my God! If he was tormenting all the shows, he could probably
do it.
I would say he could beat the. If there's a villain out there that could quote unquote beat Flash, he could probably beat, because he's just as trained as Ollie, and you always said that Ollie probably has some tricks up his sleeve that he has not shared with anyone about how to beat someone like that.
Well, quite honestly,
And with the Mirakuru, that does help him a lot and give him a much better advantage because he's stronger than Oliver, faster, and he can think faster.
Well, that's I was going to make that point too earlier. They say Joker is the antithesis of Batman, but I think Slade is the anti-Batman. He's like just like him, but evil. Like the same thing. Because Batman would never take steroids in order to beat an opponent. He would never take, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. But Slade had the Mirakuru, so he is stronger. You know what I mean?
I do remember there being a comic book where Batman was offered something that would help him defeat Slade. Yeah, he refused.
If he can't do it on his own, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Are you going to knit these two together, or are we actually need another conversation?
All I wanted to say was I hope that they give Slade Wilson his due and they give him an opportunity to be the character everyone wants him to be.
I think they will. Like I said, they didn't put him on an island for no reason at all.
If you know his story, he wasn't always a villain. Obviously, you saw that from season 1, but his actual maturation from the comic book was he was just a very good assassin. And his wife or girlfriend died. I don't remember. I think it was his girlfriend. His wife. It was his wife because he did get married. His wife died. And this is actually weird in the comic book. Explain this one to me. Well, you don't explain it to me. Just let me get your opinion on this. He's given stuff that kind of like Wolverine that he can regenerate and heal.
Yes.
It's not as fast as the Deadpool. It's not as fast as Deadpool can heal instantly.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not as fast. Like if you cut his arm an hour later, it's fine.
New arm.
Or if you break his arm, an hour later it heals. It mends itself.
Yes.
What they don't explain is why his eye can't heal. They don't explain that in the comic book. And everything else heals. They've explained that, but they do not explain why his eye never healed. And I wonder why that is. And it's not like he has something behind there that helps him like fight, like he has some kind of like X-ray vision thing. It's not that. It's
he's not Deadshot.
Yeah, his eye's just gone. So they don't explain. Does that bother you a little bit too? It bothers me.
Well, I'm just thinking, can Slade regenerate full limbs if they're
Yes, he can. He can regenerate. It's not as fast. Like I said, like Deadpool can do it almost instantly. He can just pop an arm out of his arm.
I'm not familiar enough with the character, but my assumption would be that, and I mean, granted, Arrow did what they did with the character. My overall thing would be that it had to happen either before or during what made him what he is now. That would be my only thought and theory on that. But like I said, I'm not familiar enough with the character. Nerd World, feel free to beat the living shit.
I would love an answer to that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we're doing a new thing now, so everyone doesn't freak out. We're breaking off each of our topics, and it'll become a playlist for podcast number whatever we're on, and you can I think it's 20 also, and you can watch every individual part. Like for example, here soon we're gonna have like not soon, but soon enough we're gonna have football. We're gonna have a football, and then we're gonna have each part of a football conversation, and then each part of our nerd, so on and so forth. So you can just watch whatever you want. That way you don't have to skip ahead or whatever. You can literally pick out what party you want in the playlist. So
yeah,
we're gonna jump ahead to Flash.